Hey, so at the moment, I just came outside to start writing my book, and I decided that before I get into that, I would like to do a little quick video about understanding, learning, and me teaching light language to you all. A few people have asked if I can go into depth about how to do light language, and I've been noticing a lot of wonderful results because of that, including synchronicity, which is what I'm writing all about in my book right now. So my book is called The Chronicles of Synchronicity, and I'm so excited to finally put down on paper what I've been imagining in my head since I was a little girl. But only now has it all come together, and only now have I decided this book has got to be all about synchronicity, because what else would I choose to write about, right? This channel is all about it. So if you would like to receive more information about that, then I am currently going to share my process of writing this book with patrons. My dear patrons, thank you so much for supporting me for all of this. I think it's almost been 4 years now that I've been on YouTube, and only now have I decided that it's time for me to write a book. So I'm going to be sharing that process with you on my Patreon. You can go pledge to me there for as little as $1.33, and you'll get access to the designs that I've been coming up with for the book cover. But I'm going to be releasing the first chapter to patrons very soon, once it's all underway. When I first came across light language, I found a video on YouTube, and I said to myself, that is familiar to me. That is something that think I've already done before in nature. Like, I've already sort of made those noises, made those sounds have come out of me before. And so it was an instant kind of, oh, I've done this before, so let me practice it more. And in the last 2 years that I've been kind of looking into light language, only recently, after reading Jamie Price's book on the power of light language, the power of opening to light language, have I really seen the value and benefit of it in my own world. Because I guess there's something to do with reading a book that really grasps your, like, oh, it gives you more in-depth detail than what a video can. So that's why I think as well I'm inspired to write this book, because I want to give people an in-depth look at synchronicity, and with that, hopefully inspire and help people on their journey towards spirituality and synchronicity. My book is going to be a spiritual fantasy, and all I can say about it is that it's very different from your average book. I mean, my writing style is very different from your average book, so intuitives may find that they're already drawn to light language, and it's just about practicing for them. So my number one tip for you would be practicing out in nature, because in nature you have a clearer way of tapping into your intuition, tapping into your surroundings, because it's much more peaceful and you can open your heart easier. Light language is all about opening your heart, basically. It's a heart language, very much. With people that are more logically based in their mind, but you have an attraction towards light language, then what I would say for you is that, first of all, the fact that you're intrigued by it may just mean that you wish to experience light language in some way, and it may not necessarily mean that you have to channel light language yourself. There's 3 main ways to channel. One is speaking or singing, one is writing, and the third way is basically using your hands to channel. So it's a bit like sign language, if you will. And what it may entail for you is, if you're not necessarily attracted to the idea of speaking light language, of writing light language, of signing light language, then you may actually be intrigued by the idea of listening to it. You may be intrigued by the idea of being surrounded by it in some way. Okay. But the number one thing that gets in the way of discovering the powers of light language is a type of worry pertaining to what other people think. For example, when I first started out with light language, I didn't want anyone to hear me. It's a bit like when you're trying to sing for the first time. You don't want anyone around you to hear you. You don't want people judging you, which is all fair enough. So the main obstacle that you have to overcome is caring what other people think about you whilst you're doing it. Nowadays, I just come out into the garden and I speak light language, and if someone were to ask me what am I doing, I would tell them. You know, I would be frank with them, and to be honest, most people just think it's another language, and it's true, it is another language. It's a language based in love. So a language based in resonance. The thing is that there are so many benefits that I've come across with it that only unfold the more I do it every single day. And I'm just happy that some of you are intrigued about learning more about it. Oh, hey, Bun Bun. Hey, baby. You're so beautiful. Yeah. Came out to 3 lovely Bun Buns this morning. Yes, you're so beautiful. So, with light language, what I've decided I'm going to do is, for those of you who are interested in learning more in depth with me specifically, how to channel light language. So setting an intention is key. Then going with the flow is next. And thirdly is understanding and interpreting the channel that comes through. So if you would be interested in that, what I'm going to offer for patrons at the $33 tier is, depending on your own needs and requires, what you would like to, how you would like to learn, I'm going to offer either emails, so detailed emails to you that give you a whole range of information about what light language is and what it does. Or I'm going to offer you the chance to message me, use voice messaging, for example. Or I'm also going to be hosting some lessons on Zoom. I found that Zoom is a great platform for this because you can use a whiteboard. I can use a whiteboard. I can write on the whiteboard. I can share my screen with you. I can do all sorts of stuff that really works well with when it comes to teaching and when it comes to learning a type of lesson. In this case, it will be a light language lesson. So you can choose which avenue you would prefer. Some people don't want to speak face to face. Some people would prefer to speak through emails. Some people would prefer to speak through voice messages. Some people would prefer to speak one-on-one. So I'm going to offer all 3 of those avenues for you, depending on what you choose. And I'd love to take you through a journey of what light language looks like, how to open to light language, how to use it in your life, how to channel specific things that are going to help you on your healing journey when it comes to light language. So I'm very excited about that. As many of you know, I have a degree in teaching, and for the longest time for the last year I've been teaching children, actually. And I'm feeling a call to teach more about spirituality at the moment. You can see our garden here. That's the bird table in the back. We get a lot of chipmunks coming on there. Actually, there's one on there right now. There's 2 on there right now. Oh no, it's a bird. We did have a family of squirrels that was here. There was about 5 red squirrels, but now they've disappeared because Grandma Grey, a big grey squirrel, came, and it actually works a lot better because Grandma Grey seems to tolerate the chipmunks a lot better than what the red squirrels did. The red squirrels would consistently chase the chipmunks, and the chipmunks would chase them too, whereas the grey squirrel seems to not do that. She seems to, if it's a she, I'm not sure, that's why I call her Grandma Grey, but it could be Grandpa Grey squirrel. She just likes to sit and eat the food, so it's great. Even the natural environment is attracting the perfect ecosystem of peace, a peaceful ecosystem, so very grateful about that. So with synchronicity, 3 things I want you to remember is PAT. So P stands for paying attention. If you want to notice synchronicity in your life, if you want to get in touch with the miracles and the magic that life can offer you, you have to pay attention to the world around you. You have to be able to pay attention to your surroundings, to your energy within those surroundings, and pay attention to basically your listening body. So when you pay attention to your listening body, basically you choose to tap into the silence of the nowness. Okay, that's what you do. You pay attention to your surroundings. Next is A. A is for allow. Allowing comes when we recognize the synchronicity. We recognize our surroundings, we hear the message, and we allow for it. We allow for whatever message that may be. Generally, you can see synchronicity as being a positive message, but other times it can be a synchronicity that's trying to teach you a lesson, so it's not always positive, actually. And that's where we give ourselves over to allowance. Allowance that is basically connecting us with our divine rights of love, actually, because when you allow love. You allow for the flow of love in your life. And the third one, T, stands for trust. Trusting in yourself that you've just heard a message, you've just received a message from synchronicity. So the way that Jung, who coined the terms this word, is that it's when 2 seemingly unconnected events come together and create something. So 2 events that are not connected in any way come together and connect somehow in a way that seems impossible, as though it's a meaningful coincidence. That's how Jung terms it. I'd like to take it a step further, because I've experienced it so often in my life, and say that it doesn't always have to be, I can see Bun Bun. It doesn't always have to be meaningful. It doesn't always have to be 2 things that aren't connected. You will find that the more you connect the dots, especially with synchronicity, the more it doesn't matter whether the situation could happen or not. What matters is that you notice it, that you pay attention to it in a way that you feel it in. Just as the butterfly flies past or the bunny runs past, you feel something in your heart that says, that's a sign that says yes, that's a good idea, yes, you should do that, yes, you're on the right track. Simple as that. That's what synchronicity is to me. Light language, as I was talking about yesterday, can actually fall into those 3 categories, because light language can be the act of paying attention to your surroundings. So before you do light language, you want to pay attention to your surroundings. You want to tap into the feeling of Mother Earth, which is tapping into even the ancestors, perhaps, that have been here before you, honouring them. Pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the noises, all the sounds, the smells, the feelings, the everything. Then you want to allow for your voice or your hands, or, whatever type of light language you're going to try and channel. You want to set your intention at this point and allow for whatever comes through. Set your intention to be a pure and powerful channel for love's expansion on earth, and allow for whatever is needing or wanting to come through you in the moment, because that's the true bardic way. The true bard is able to turn any present given situation into a story, into a message of some kind, into a moral of some kind, and use song to do so, because song is one of the best ways to manifest in your world, and to manifest not just in your future, like manifesting things in your future, but manifest love in the moment. So that's what light language is doing, especially when you're using song. But you can use writing, you can use words, all different types of things. And finally, you can apply the T to light language as well, which is to trust that whatever comes through you is what's good for you, is what's good for the environment. You will know if you've gone into a lower resonance tone when you're using light language, especially when you're using voice. When you're using your voice, you'll instinctively know if you've gone into a lower resonance, because the tone will be lower. And not only that, like sometimes you can go into the lower tones and it doesn't mean that you've lowered your resonance, but you'll notice that you don't feel as good when you're singing, when you're speaking, whatever it is that you're channeling. You'll notice that you don't feel as good. So as long as you can be mindful of that, all you have to do then is trust that whatever comes through you is what's required. So even if it does sound a bit off in key, for example, or a word doesn't sound quite right to you in the light language, and most of the words that you use in the beginning of getting into light language are not going to sound right to you. You have to get used to it, you have to practice it. But if you allow for what comes through and a word doesn't sound quite right, all you need to do then is trust that whatever comes up for you in the moment is leading you on to the next thing. So if a word is out of tune, for example, like when I sing and it sounds beautiful, but then all of a sudden I sing a note that doesn't sound so beautiful, I take it as my stepping stone to the next beautiful word, and I change tact then. It's really about using your present. The paying attention to your environment is number one for a reason, because it's about paying attention, being present to the nowness of right now, just as we are doing right now with this video. I'm taking homage of my surroundings and integrating them into the message of this video. So today is day 3 of writing my book, and I happen to be on chapter 3. So I'm very excited to potentially finish another chapter today. I'm aiming for around 3,500 words per chapter. And I decided that I'd bring out this crystal here. It's very beautiful, etheric crystal. I think it's an amethyst, although I'm not sure. And in some lights, it has this kind of rainbow color in there. And synchronistically, everywhere that I've been going in the house recently has been having rainbows from the sunlight shining onto the mirrors in the house. And I've been working with these rainbow frequencies and just trying to notice the synchronistic light that keeps shining in on them. So I'm gonna make first of all, I'm gonna cleanse the residue, anything that may be attached to this crystal that is not required and is not part of the crystal itself. And I'm just going to do that with imagining a violet flame coming out of my hands now, and it's just clearing the energy of the crystal and kind of getting it back to its original state. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant it somewhere, potentially in the soil, but not so far in the soil that it can't be penetrated by light or by the moon. So actually I've just thought of a place I want to plant it, so I'll take you with me. We actually had our 4 o'clocks come out yesterday for the first time, and they're called 4 o'clocks because they don't come out until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They're actually more like a moonflower. You can see them just here. They smell absolutely divine. So can't smell them right now because they've gone inside, but maybe I'm gonna plant this one here. I might plant it in this one. So I'm going to plant this for the fairies, for the elementals, for them to know that this is a gift and we recognize them as being a part of this land. We've been having the animals come up to us a lot recently, and I take it as a beautiful sign that we're resonating at a good frequency, and in doing so, in respecting and caring for the animals, caring for the earth, we have a much better chance of building a relationship with the fairies, with the elementals that inhabit this kind of nature. Like you can see, like we've just let our garden completely grow, and it's attracting all kinds of different life. Like I would really encourage you all to, if you're constantly spending time mowing your garden, think about not mowing your garden, because we've had fireflies come to this garden which are actually endangered at the moment because so many people cut their grass. But the fireflies love tall grass, bonbons love tall grass. They all thrive when you let Mother Nature grow like this. So maybe think about doing that. And for now, I'm just going to get this crystal a beautiful blessing of love, peace, light, protection, and I'm just going to plant it right here in the soil, and maybe I'll plant it just right here. And so that's going to be right there for the fairies to play with the energies and tap into it. And obviously it's going to get cleansed properly from the sun and the moon now, the celestial bodies and the elements. I'm just going to smell this flower here. It smells beautiful. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing out here right now. So I'm gonna get to my little cozy space. You can see this is where I'm kind of hanging out during the days. Nature, we've let nature grow into what you see here. So we don't cut anything, we don't do any of that. We just tailor it, and this beautiful area is where they get most of their food. But we'll put out scraps of food just on this log here, and we haven't. Oh, here's Chippy. Can you see Chippy? We haven't actually done anything with this shed here because it's the home of the chippies, and if we were going to stay here we would tear it down and probably build ourselves a little cabin. But anyway, this is a sacred space, and I want to enjoy it for as long as we possibly can. Okay, well, that's all I have to say for today. Let's bring on day 3 of writing the Chronicles of Synchronicity. So thank you for watching. Peace, love, and light.